Alright, Shalom. Shalom, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, bishops of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from and who rule well. And salutations and blessings and a big Shalom to you 144,000 and the rest of the elect. So, without further ado, I'm going to go into a little bit more information on Troy. Alright, I mentioned this about a week ago, and I've been trying to gather information and trying to, go into it pretty much a little bit more organized. So, Salaki for the lateness, but as they say, it's better late than never. So, Lord's will, this will be edifying. So the first piece of information comes from a website called ucg.ca, which stands for United Church of Canada. And I'm going to read some information first. And this comes from this chart, right, which I brought out in the video about the heritage of the Anglo-Saxon race. And as you see all the way here, you have Judah. And Judah had two main sons, Zara and Pharez, which Pharez, as you see the lineage here, right, it went all the way down to Obed and then Jesse. And then, of course, to King David, right, which this lineage all the way went to Yahushai, right? So, pretty much, you had another son, which was Zerah. And Zerah, his lineage went through this person, Darda, which we're going to focus on, Darda, and which spawned the legend of Troy, pretty much, the city of Troy and that whole thing. And even when you watch that movie Troy, I always loved that movie. When that came out, I went to the theaters and seen it, right, in the early 2000s. And pretty much that movie, it showed you how that city was impenetrable because of the high walls and the ingenuity of those people. Right, that's why they needed to bring that scheme of the Trojan horse, right? But anyway, let's get into the lesson, all right? And we'll come back to this chart. So this is from, again, that website, and I'm going to read. It says, the Royal House of Troy. The traditional founder of Troy's famed royal house was Dardanius. A few generations prior to Troy, the Ilus, it's like it to Tros and Ilus, right? It says, Dardanius in Greek legend, the son of Zeus and the Pleiad Electra, mythical founder of Dardania on the Hellespont, the nearby strait separating Dardania from Hellas, or Greece, now called the Dardanelles. 1 second. Okay, so we're focusing on this the Dardanians, all right? He was the ancestor of the Dardans of the Troad, the region surrounding Troy. And there's pretty much a few ways to spell Troy. You had Troy, Troad, Troas in the scriptures, right? In the scriptures, for 2 Corinthians 2:12. Furthermore, when I came to Troas to preach Mashiach's gospel, and a door was opened unto me of the Lord. All right, when you look up this word, obviously Troas, it's going to show you Troy itself.
Strong's G 5174. Troas.
Right, a Trojan, right? Troy. Okay, so back here it says, according to tradition, Dardanus fled from Arcadia in the middle of Mycenaean Greece across the sea to Samothrace, a northern Aegean island. When that island was visited by a flood, he crossed over to the Troad. Being hospitably received by Teucer, he married Teucer's daughter Betia and became the founder of the royal house of Troy. Okay, Dardanus Encyclopedia Britannica, 1985, volume 3. All right. In his acclaimed story of civilization, historian Will Durant writes, "Who were the Trojans? An Egyptian papyrus mentions certain Dardanians as among the allies of the Hittites at the Battle of Kadesh, 1287 BC. It is likely that these were the ancestors of the Dardanoi, who in Homer's terminology are one with the Trojans. Probably these Dardani were of Balkan Greek origin, crossed the Hellespont in the 16th century." So when we go here, I had this one part here, right? See, Dardanians, Trojan, the Dardanoi, right? Modern terms being Dardanians or Dardans, who are legendary people of the Troy, located in northwestern Anatolia. The Dardani were the descendants of Dardanus, the mythical founder of Dardanus, an ancient city in the Troy. See, so this is all like mythology, son of Zeus, but you had men who were deified, right? We always bring this out. Men who were deified as gods, as demigods, and Jake, Jake loves to talk shit, man. Jake will say, oh, this guy's descendant of Titans and the mythology and all that shit, right? So it says, a contingent of Dardanians figures among Troy's allies in the Trojan War, right? And as you see here, Dardanus, right? Parents Zeus and Electra. But you're going to find out that Zeus was really, these people were deified. Those are Israelites, man. Okay, the great people, right? Dardanus is also was a city. So I'm just showing you this because this is all, these were Israelites. Okay, see, Dardanus was a city in the region of Troy. Okay, so back here. Okay, so it says, Herodotus, Greek father of history of the 5th century BC, however, identified the Trojans with the Tusrians. And the Tusrians, according to the 1st century BC Greco-Roman geographer Strabo, were Cretans who settled in the Troad, perhaps after the fall of Knossos. Both Crete and the Troad had a sacred Mount Ida. Alright, that's from Volume 2, The Life of Greece, 1966, page 35. Now, you had Israelites in Crete as well. Right, when you go into, in the scriptures, you had Israelites scattered everywhere, man. A lot of different places, right? This is Acts 2, and this was during the time of Pentecost. Right, and this is, I'm just going to go to the point, verse 2 and 8. Acts 2 and 8, and how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born, Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and in Cappadocia, in Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, in Egypt and in the parts of Libya and Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of the Most High. Right, these are Israelites from those parts who spoke those languages. See? So this is second paragraph. This is all becoming much clearer. Again, these people were evidently Israelites, most likely Judites or Jays. Indeed, even many of the Mycenaean royal houses of southern Greece appear to have sprung from the royal lineage of Crete, which seems to have been Ish. I'm not going to say certain words for obvious reasons. It is interesting to consider that, according to Homer, the shields of the Greek leaders in the Trojan War were decorated with heraldic eagles and lions. These were the Israelite tribal emblems of Dan and Judah, respectively. The lion also appeared on the shields of the Trojans. This, which Dan also, he was mainly, he had the symbol of the serpent as well. All right, not just the eagle. It says this made all the more compelling by the following quote from Biblical Archaeologist magazine. Quote, lions, we may remark, are not frequent in Greece. March 1996, page 17, and yet over the lion gate of Mycenae, or Mycenae, an ancient relief of two very large lions flanking a pillar still greets tourists. So that that shows you right there as well why they had the lion, right? And that was a big symbol in Troy, right? They had the lion on their shields. So it says, this is from the same website, yet could the biblical Darda truly be the founder of Troy? What of Dardanus' descent from the Greek god Zeus? A number of royal genealogies based on Homer describe the descent of Trojan royalty as follows: Kronos, Zeus, Dardanus, Erichthonius, Tros, Laomedon, Priam, the king of Troy at the time of the Trojan War in Homer's Iliad. While this lineage might appear entirely mythical, it should be realized, this is a good point, that some ancient myths about the gods were actually rooted in stories about real people. In fact, many pagan religions began in part as ancestor and hero worship. See Thomas Bulfinch's mythology, stories of gods and heroes. See? So that was my point that I was making before about Israelites being deified. It says, thus, stripped of mythological embellishment, Dardanus, son of Zeus, son of Kronos, is Darda, son of Judah, son of Israel. Actually, Darda was the grandson, great-grandson, or later descendant of Judah, as the word son can be interpreted. In any case, Darda was in fact a descendant of Judah through the line of Zerah. Incredibly, an examination of the genealogies of the royal families of Europe shows that nearly all of them trace their lineage back to the house of Troy. Alright? It says, thus the scepter did indeed remain with Judah as prophesied, for from the line of Perez came the royal house of David, while from the Zerah line came the royal house of Troy. Yet Troy's wasn't the only royal line from Zerah. Right, so you had Jake in a lot of places, man. Right, and this is a map of a scattering. And as you see here, you have Dardanians of Troy. And then you even had a region called Dardania. You know, and as this chart shows you, right, Darda was a descendant. All right, and these became great people, Dardanians, Dardanum. Okay. Now, there's one more thing. Hold on. Oh, there's a scripture, Salakia. Right? This is a prophecy, man. This is Genesis 35:11. It says, and the Most High said unto him, I am the Most High Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. That's a commandment. And you know Jake, man. You ain't got to tell him twice. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. In the NLT, it says, then the Most High said, I am Al-Shaddai, power almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. You will become a great nation, even many nations. See, so that one tribe can be like described as many nations. Oh, Trojans, Mycenaeans, same people, man, same tribe. They became so great, they were a nation. They were a company of nations. It says kings will be among your descendants, and that's prophecy. And that did happen. You know? So that's something to look out for. You can look it up. You can look up more information on Dardanians. So clearly you can see Dardanians. That word itself constructively comes from Darda. Right? And that's found in the book of 1 Chronicles 2 and 6. Which we can pull up. Right, it says, 1 Chronicles 2 and 4, and Tamar, his daughter-in-law, bare him Pharez and Zerah. All the sons of Judah were 5. The sons of Pharez, Hezron and Hamul. And the sons of Zerah, Zimri and Ethan and Heman and Calcon and Dara. Five of them in all. When we look up this, let's look up this word Dara, because again, there's different spellings. But as you see in the Edom, right, it says Darda. Dardare, right? Darda. When you go here, Darda, right? When you go in the map, Dardanum. Right, when you go where we're looking up here, Dardanians. Same thing. As you see, Dardanians. So here it's a pearl of knowledge. So that shows you, alright, it says Darda an Israelite. Right? So again, this is just showing you, man, you had scatterings of Jake way before. Jake just went and did things, man. That's why it says Genesis 35, be fruitful and multiply, a nation and company of nations, right? And kings shall be of thy descendants, man. Carthage, were there not kings in Carthage? Who were the Carthaginians? The word Carthage that's a Hebrew word. Okay. Anyway, not long. This lesson's not long, but Crete. So you had Israelites dwelling all throughout here, man. Asia Minor, Eurasia. Okay. Anyway, call them like Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rachakodash and Kwam Yashral.